Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube, and what we're going to make is actually an applesauce roll cake, or many of us call them jelly roll cakes. Now, if you're looking for a vanilla or a chocolate jelly roll cake, please check out, I have 2 videos already on my channel, and check it out. This particular cake though is used with applesauce, and I generally fill it with a brown sugar buttercream frosting, but you can fill it with jam or jelly or your favorite preserves, whatever frosting that you think would go well with a applesauce jelly roll cake. So let's get started. First, I started off with 3 eggs at room temperature, and you can certainly do this recipe with your hand mixer. I'm using the stand because it's so much faster for me for the video. And I went ahead and I have beaten these eggs for about 5 minutes. So they're very pale in yellow in color, and they're very fluffy. And now I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. I'm going to warn you about the sound of the mixer, of the motor, okay? Beat those eggs and those granulated sugar for a couple minutes or so, again till it's really nice and fluffy. Also, I won't be putting the ingredients of this recipe below the video, and I do apologize for that, but I am mentioning on all my videos. The only reason that I'm doing that is that other people have taken my videos, claimed them as theirs, taken them to other sites and what have you, and it's just not worth it anymore. So I'm going to try to explain the ingredients slowly, so that if you do choose to want to write down the recipe, you're going to be able to do that. So in saying that, just let me repeat myself for a quick second. 3 beaten eggs and 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. The next thing we're going to be putting in is a 1/2 cup, and I'm using the sweetened applesauce, but you can certainly go ahead and use unsweetened if that's what you have or you prefer, and then beat that in for just a minute or 2, just so that you know everything's combined. This is a really quick cake to put together. Alright, on the dry ingredients, you're going to be needing 1 cup of all-purpose flour. You're also going to be putting in a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. You're going to be putting in a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. You're going to be putting in 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And the last ingredient that you're going to put in is a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. Now, if you don't like cloves, or maybe you don't have cloves, either just leave it out or put that 1/4 teaspoon, instead of putting cloves, go ahead and use cinnamon. I've done it both ways and the cake comes out really good. And then I'm just going to give it a quick stir here with my spoon, and then add it to the wet. And then I'll be able to show you what the batter looks like once it's beaten together. Again, warn you about the sound. And just put a little in at a time. Okay, and that's not going to take you very long at all. And you could see that I went up to a high speed just to be able to finish it off very, very quickly. But that's up to you and on you know, you know, how the speed that you decide to use. Okay, I'm using a 12 by 18 pan. You can put your parchment paper down and then heavily grease it, okay? And let me get the paddle out here, and let's take off the excess and set it aside. And then I want to just do a quick stir to make sure that the sides and the bottom were well combined. It tends to stick in the bottom of the bowl. Now you're going to be able to see what the batter looks like. It's not real thick, but it's not really thin and watery either, but it's more on the thinner side. And I'm going to just take that all out of there. I want to get all of it because you really need to stretch this batter on this 12 by 18. By the way, the pan is 1 inch tall. So I want to mention that because usually people ask that question. And then just make sure that you get it well into the sides as evenly as possible. It doesn't have to be exact, but just spread that out with your spatula or your spoon, wooden spoon, and then just start stretching that batter all the way down this way. Again, I want to get this all out. I want to use it all up because I really want to get to the end of this pan. So I'm going to just grab a knife here quickly and take that off my spatula here. Okay, and then I'm just going to spread it all down. Try to, you know, do it as evenly as possible as you can. Now you're going to bake this cake at 350 degrees. And you're going to bake it anywhere from, well, mine took, it took about 12 minutes only. They can bake up very quickly. They can bake up between 12 and 15 minutes. As we know, our ovens all set up so differently. So, you know, check it early. You don't want to over bake these cakes. You don't want to dry them out. And again, I'm just trying to be as evenly as possible here. Okay. And then I do like to give the pan just a quick little tap or so. Hope that wasn't too loud. And again, 350, anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes. Sometimes mine come up in even 10 minutes. So let me wash my hands real quick. Now I generally, as I hope I mentioned, that I fill mine with the brown sugar buttercream frosting. But you can fill it whatever you like. That's what's so great about this cake. It really is. Now, once it bakes up, when you take it out of the oven, just let it sit for about a minute or so on a cooling rack. But then take a clean kitchen towel, sprinkle it with powdered sugar, and then you'll actually turn the cake on top of your towel that has the powdered sugar on it. And then you're going to gently pull back your parchment paper, and then you will, you know, reveal the cake. Now the cake will still be hot, and you'll start to roll it in the towel like I have till it cools. So, you know, let it sit, you know, on your kitchen countertop or wherever, your workstation, till the cake cools. Now, once that you feel it's cooled, then unroll the cake in the towel, just like I'm doing now. Okay? And if you feel that the ends are a little crisp or dry, you can cut them off while it's still warm, or you can wait till it's cooler. It's up to you. Let me grab my buttercream. I had it in the refrigerator, so I want to keep it there. And I'm just going to put down the buttercream. And grab another knife here and just start spreading it out. It really depends on you of how much filling you want to put in this cake. So you be the judge of that. I actually use a full recipe of the buttercream. I really do. Now, you don't have to frost this cake if you don't want to. You can just sprinkle powdered sugar over it, or again, you know, frost it. It really, really depends on you, what you want to do with it and what filling you're going to put inside of it. So many things go well with apple, and like I said, this is really an easy cake to make because it bakes up so quickly in the oven. Okay. Okay, you get the idea though of what I've done here. Okay. Hopefully I've got to the edge well enough. Okay. And then I think I'm going to roll it towards you so that you can see it. It's sticking a little bit to the towel and the powdered sugar, so I'm trying to take my time so I don't crack it or break this cake. So I'm not going to try to rush it along here. I just want to try to roll it up as evenly as possible. Sometimes you will have little cracks in it. That's expected. And a little bit of mine is sticking to the towel. I might have brushed it just a little bit. And that will happen. Okay, so we've got the roll completely away from the towel, and we're going to just place that on a serving dish. And we'll get rid of that towel. And again, this is where you decide whether you want to cover it with your frosting or just go ahead and sprinkle with powdered sugar. You can then garnish the top of it with whatever that you want. I usually, after I put the buttercream on it, then I actually sprinkle, you know, maybe walnuts, chopped walnuts on the top, or chocolate jimmies or whatever. So I'm not going to bore you with frosting it at this time. And then also for your presentation, you might want to cut the edge off of the cake before you serve it. It's not a necessity or anything like that, but it makes for a little prettier presentation if you cut the ends off a little bit. Okay, and that's what I've done on both sides here. Okay, and there you have it. You've got an applesauce jelly roll cake. Put whatever filling that you'd like to put in the cake. Garnish it however that you would like to, and give this a try. If you do try the recipe and you like it, we'll leave a comment because I really like to hear from you. But please keep in mind, watch me solely on YouTube, because many times it's so frustrating. I see people ask me a question or have a comment and I can't answer you because it's not on YouTube. So if you give it a try and you like it, let me know. And if you're so inclined and you want to subscribe to the channel, boy, I'd really appreciate it. Or ring the bell, or a like would be fantastic. I always want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube, and I'll see you soon.